Blessings and welcome. This is a recording for a projector with an emotional authority with split definition, 5'2", heretical hermit. Today we're just going to go briefly through the introduction of human design and the different sciences that it puts together to spit out information about you, as well as some concept of the different aspects of the design, the centers, as well as the channels in more detail. So for the next, I think, 30 minutes, as much time as much you have, we're going to go deep into your design, and hopefully everybody listening can follow along. And this recording is really good for everybody who's getting into human design and wants to understand the science of differentiation and to understand themselves and how to live their purpose from their authority and identity. You can go back and revisit this recording anytime you would like. The more times you listen to it, obviously the deeper you'll have an understanding of it, because there's going to be a lot of information and it takes kind of a while to understand it all. So I recommend, while listening to this, if you are new to human design or you want to brush up on your skills, you may hear some things that you don't remember, grab a piece of paper and a pen and just take notes as we follow along, because your ability to retain the information is 70% higher when you are writing it down than when you're just listening to it alone. So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Awesome. So the human design, it's a system. It's a science of differentiation. It shows each and every one of us that we have a unique design and a specific purpose to fulfill here while we live on Earth. So there's endless possibilities for individual uniqueness, and they all lay within the matrix of our genetic matrix, which is our human design. Human design doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It invites you to participate in a potentially life-transforming living experiment. It provides you with the practical tools and information needed to live life as yourself. So the human design chart, or Bodygraph, is a precise map and user guide that gives you access to how you are genetically designed to engage with the world and how your unique inner guidance system operates. The conscious and unconscious parts of yourself, the aspects of yourself that no one can take away from you, as well as the aspects that you have been taught or conditioned to believe that are you but are not. What you can rely on is some aspect of yourself that you've never relied on before in your life. What you can't trust and you've been trying to trust all your life. What you've been trusting has never been you. What you've been ignoring has always been you. Try to trust what's really you and see what happens. Each of us is meant to be different from everyone else. Now we can see and get in touch with those differences. We are here to live our lives and express our truth in our own unique way. So understanding our gifts and talents through the human design helps us be the conduit, the missing piece of the puzzle to many people in this world. So the human design chart, it reveals you how your specific genetic design, it affirms who you really are, how to be yourself, and how to navigate successfully through a constantly changing world. The human design chart, the Bodygraph, provides you with the tools you need to live an aware and awake life. A simple strategy you can trust that reliably connects you to your personal authority in order to make moment-by-moment decisions that are correct for you, so that your unique life purpose can unfold naturally. Your strategy will help you eliminate resistance. And the resistance comes in the form of frustration, anger, disappointment, bitterness. It will help you eliminate fear in order to live a relaxed life, unique, creative, based on your design. Your chart maps out your relationship dynamics to help you understand how the attractions, resonance, and conflict between you and others play out. Your chart gives you guidance on how to align yourself with people who enhance your vitality support your life purpose, and share your true path. Understanding the chart, the bodygraph, the human design, illustrates the truly unique and individual nature of those close to you, like your family members and friends, and how best to respect and interact with them. And most importantly, a chart shows us how to create the best environment for children so that they are empowered to be their unique selves and to learn and develop as individual human beings. So there are 4 main human design types. And the chart gives you your type, your strategy, your authority, and the tools to show you the way you are designed to navigate through life and interact with the world. The 4 types are the generator, which is the builder, representing 70% of the population. The generator strategy is to engage with life by waiting for things to come to them so that they can respond. The generators respond. When they initiate rather than wait to respond, they usually end up feeling frustrated. Generators are the life force of this planet and are designed to know themselves by observing what they respond to. Through responding, they experience satisfaction in their life and work. Their work is their gift to the world. There's also manifesting generators, and what that means is that those types of generators have more manifesting powers, which means that they can dedicate their life to multiple projects simultaneously because they have enough energy, life force energy, to sustain multiple different avenues. So typically a generator would do 1 big project, maybe 2. But manifesting generators have enough energy for many different projects, to respond to many different projects. Does that make sense? Asha, are you with me?
Yes, I'm listening. Thank you.
Does that make sense about the generators?
Yeah, I'm glad that you included manifesting generators because sometimes generators and manifesting generators think they're different, but that's very similar.
They have, yeah. So their biggest and most important thing in the way that they engage with life is waiting to respond. So, and they respond to the things that based on the way that their authority is. So people come to them and then they say yes, no to different projects based on what their authority is, whether it's sacral or spleen or emotional. So they have to trust their authority and they respond. So they don't initiate anything. They just wait and then check in with themselves to respond to see if it's right for them.
Got it.
So they're normally the people that would like help you edit a book, help you create a program, help you harvest all the seeds in the garden, clean. People that have a lot of energy to do stuff. That is generators and manifesting generators. The next is the projectors, which is like you and myself. We are the guides, approximately 20% of the population. Our strategy as projectors for engaging with life is to wait for their specific qualities to be recognized and then invited into things. It is through these invitations that they experience recognition and success in their life. If they initiate rather than wait, they experience resistance and rejection and can end up becoming bitter. The projector's gift to the world is to understand and be a guide for others. Now, the manifestors are the initiators. They're the only ones that are the initiators, composed about 9% of the population. Their strategy is to inform others of their decisions before they take action in order to eliminate resistance. So a manifestor is somebody who initiates the creation of an event, a startup, like the idea, all comes from them, but before they start taking action, their job is to tell everybody, to inform everybody about that idea. When manifestors cannot manifest in peace, they experience anger. Manifestors are designed to have a powerful impact and be initiating mechanisms for the other types. Initiating is their gift to the world. The next and final type is the reflectors, the discerners. They represent approximately 1% of the population, and their strategy is to wait through a full cycle of the moon before making major decisions. Reflectors delight in life surprises. When they initiate and don't use their strategy, they end up disappointed with life. Reflectors are designed to be the judges of humanity, to reflect back the injustices humanity inflicts on itself. Their ability to clearly discern that this and that of the world is their gift. Does that make sense? The 4 different human design types?
Yes.
Wonderful. The heart and soul of the human design system lies in the potential awakening that is available to you through the actual living of your unique design. Strategy and authority are the doorways to living as yourself, affirming who you really are and understanding and letting go of what you are not. In the past, we navigated life with our minds as the ultimate decision maker. Our minds are not equipped to do this for us any longer. The mind's real genius is for collecting information and experiences, measuring this against that, and contemplating unique perceptions and reflections that can be shared with others. It can only do this, however, when it's not making decisions for us. The mind is now at its best a passenger, here to watch the movie and to view the scenes of life as an involved observer. What actually moves us through life is our unique path, is the superior consciousness or intelligence of our body, the form we inhabit. The human design system is a revelation of how our form works and how it becomes the guiding source of our personal authority. We are each designed with a unique way to make decisions with our body consciousness, and every decision is critical, as each one moves us along life on a particular trajectory. One wrong decision can set our life on a course that can have serious consequences. Mental decision-making is rarely more than a 50-50 guess, and the mind is not a trustworthy personal guidance system. To survive on this planet, we each need to know how to access our own authority. It is the decisions that come from this deep within that either put us back on track or keep us off our track. The human design system is the awakening for humanity. And once you're familiar with your unique design and learn how to use your strategy and authority effectively, you can immediately begin to experiment with and discover for yourself how your life transforms. By living as you are designed to live as yourself, your mind starts to play a much different and more appropriate role as an objective observer and resource, freeing you to experience what it is to be awake and aware passenger. Your mind participates in your process of self-discovery, but does not interfere with your day-to-day decisions. Human design gives you the tools and points the way, but it's up to you how you use them. So good so far?
Yes,
Masha,
so good so far.
Yes. Okay. Knowing yourself is the path to loving yourself, and the human design system shows you how. The human design focuses on the health, stability, and direction of your life contained within your body. Once the form, the body, is functioning optimally, the light of our psyche, which is our personality or soul, shines through all we think, say, and do with an empowering clarity and gentle ease. This is authenticity, living as we were designed to live by design. So the human design puts together many different systems, and it synthesizes aspects of 2 types of sciences: the ancient observational system of astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the Hindu Brahm chakras, and the Tree of Life from the Zohar, Kabbalistic tradition, and the contemporary disciplines of quantum mechanics, astronomy, genetics, and biochemistry. As a logical, empirical, and practical system, human design does not ask you to believe in anything. It merely offers you the opportunity to explore and experiment with the mechanics of your own nature and your evolving consciousness in order to find out for yourself exactly what works for you.
Beautiful.
It's important to note that the voice that describes the Big Bang, the theory that that's how we came here to make the nature of the cosmos, that voice that describes the Big Bang is merely the conception of our universe, not its birth. That means that our entire universe is one single living entity, a fetus not yet born, still expanding and moving toward its moment of birth.
Wow.
Okay, so the Bodygraph is the single most important feature of the human design system, and it's comprised of 4 ancient esoteric systems, as I mentioned, or early sciences, 4 distinct ways of understanding the rhythms and flows of life, the cosmos, and humanity's essential place within it. Western astrology, the Chinese I Ching, from the outer ring of the mandala, while the Hindu Brahm Chakra system and the Zohar or Kabbalist Tree of Life form the foundation for the Bodygraph's center within. So the inner ring of the mandala represents astrology's contribution to the synthesis. This 360-degree circle with its 12 signs of the Western zodiac is the way early human beings represented the universe and tracked the movement of heavenly bodies in the sky at night. The human design system uses the mandala to calculate and record 2 precise moments in time and space within the synthesis. The first is based on the exact time of your birth, and it is recorded as the personality data. The second, which is 88 degrees of solar arc, or 3 months prior to your birth, is recorded as your design data. The use of 2 calculation distinguishes the human design system from traditional astrology. So you've got 2 dates that it takes into account: the date of the exact time of your birth and 88 days before, which is 88 degrees of solar arc, or 3 months prior to your birth. And the prior to your birth time is your design, is actually what runs your life underneath, subconsciously. At the moment of your birth, you receive your personality. That's your conscious self. You are aware of those gifts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The ancient Chinese I Ching, or Book of Change, one of the first books ever written, reads like Dictionary of Archetypal Wisdom on the Seasons of Life. What makes the I Ching so extraordinary in the synthesis, however, is not its philosophical or ethical text, but rather the amazing mathematical structure of the 64 hexagrams. Specifically, the 64 numbered sections you see in the outer ring of the mandala, representing the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. Each of these hexagrams pictured around the outside of the wheel is made up of a particular combination of 6 broken yin, or solid, yang lines. There are 64 hexagrams, each composed of 6 lines, which makes a total of 384 line markers around this outer ring. Each line contains a bit of information specific to its particular position in the hexagram. In the 1950s, Watson and Crick cracked the genetic code, and it was later observed that the DNA codons and the hexagram of the I Ching share identical binary structure. So our genetic code consists of 4 chemical bases arranged in groups of 3, which is similar in organization to the lower and upper trigrams of the hexagram of the I Ching. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Generally speaking, the inner ring of the mandala is used for calculation and the outer ring for interpretation. This illustration is shown by the hexagram, which I'll be showing on the screen at this moment, with corresponding gates, has a specific place and measurement of an arc in the outer ring. In order to determine in place, we need to understand again that the 64 hexagrams, each with the 6 lines, have a total of 384 lines, while each of the 12 houses of the zodiac encompasses 30 degrees of a total of 360 degrees. When the 384 line demarcation visible around the outer ring, we measure by or align with 360 degrees of the inner ring, we can see that each hexagram covers a space-time of 5 degrees, 37 minutes, and 30 seconds of an arc. This arc is an imprinting field, a place in space. When a planet passes through it, information is exchanged via the neutrino system. When we are born, we are imprinted with the qualities of a specific hexagram for each specific planet in the chart. The information carried by the neutrino stream at that precise moment imprints us in this specific way for the rest of our life. The moment is captured and instantaneously recorded in our body graph as our definition. This is our blueprint. Amazing, right? So the Hindu Brahm chakra system is the third component of this synthesis. And one major difference between the traditional chakra system is that this has 9 centers. The body graph has 9 centers because of the change in the cosmic shift that is reflected in 1781, signaling an evolutionary progression within our species from 7-centered beings to 9-centered beings. So the 9 different centers that are in the body graph are the head, which starts at the top. This is the pineal, the inspiration, and the pressure to translate existence. Then the ajna, as you can see, running through the center of the face, is the anterior and posterior pituitary mind, cogitation, and the process of mental awareness over time. Then we have the throat, which is the thyroid and parathyroid and metabolism, manifestation, and expression. Then we have the G center at the center, which is the liver, the blood, the self, the locator, the sense of love and direction. Then we have the heart, the thymus, stomach, gallbladder, will, and commitment. Then we have the spleen, the lymphatic system, the immunity, the intuition, and the process of physical awareness in the now. Then we have the sacral, the ovaries, the fertility, sexual energy, the power of sustaining daily activity. Then we have the root chakra, the adrenal glands, the kundalini energy, the pressure to move and balance between fear and trust. And lastly, we have the solar plexus, which is the kidney, the bladder, the pancreas, the emotions, and the process of awareness in the wave. So the tree of life, the next portion of this, from the Zohar, the Kabbalistic tradition, is the 4th component of the synthesis. It makes its contribution as the pathways energetically connecting the centers through the gates. These pathways, called channels, create a living circuitry that unifies the body graph and directs the flow of energy within it. At either end of each channel, where the channel opens into a center, you'll see a number indicating a particular gate. The 64 gates correlate to the 64 hexagram of the outer ring of the mandala, allowing us to transfer the information from the hexagram of the mandala directly into the body graph. Single gates are the way energy enters and exits a center. They are open to meeting the energy at the other end of the pathway. It takes definition in both gates at opposite ends of the pathway to complete or define a channel. As individuals, we can have both gates defined ourselves and thus define the channel. So when there are both gates that are defined on either end, that's when you have colored in channels. Or we can have only one gate defined, and we meet other people who complete the channel for us. So as an example, when a person has a gate at one end of the channel, they are attracted to a person who has the gate at the other end of the channel. And them coming together, it completes or energetically connects them through the newly completed channel. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand what you're saying completely.
Yeah, so when you have the different channels, if only half of it is complete, but not the other one, when you meet other people that have that other one complete, it's like there's an energetic, like incredible feeling that's happening, and you can't explain it because they're complete and they're closing the circuit on some of your channels.
Yes, I feel that.
Yeah, so when you start looking at that, like the deeper you go into it, then you realize which channels have been completed, and it helps you explain why you're feeling this energy with this person. Yeah, exciting, right? It's so interesting. This is what sparks the law of attraction. So this is one of the many ways that we are designed to interact with other people in our lives. Basically, the channels connect the energies of two different centers, thus generating something new described as a quantum. Each channel has its own characteristics and keynotes, but remains a flexible or dynamic quantum of the energy of the two gates, 12 lines, and two centers it brings together. Defined or colored-in channels become dominant features in a person's life, and we call this definition, your life force. This is discussed in more detail later. Of course, I'll talk to you guys about it later. What makes the human design extraordinary is that bodygraph and the ability to read and understand it. So the two calculations are needed to generate the bodygraph. We begin with the date, place, and exact time of each person's birth to establish the personality, or natal calculation. When the birth data is entered into the mechanics of the bodygraph, into the image software, the program automatically calculates a second set of data, the prenatal, or your design calculation. So the natal, or your personality, calculation is based on the moment of birth, and the prenatal, or your design, the subconscious, what's running the show, calculation is based on a time approximately 88 days, or 88 degrees of the sun prior to the actual birth. On your own chart, you will see that you have both a design birth date and a personality birth date. Since both calculations are based on the moment of your birth, it does not matter if you were a full-term baby, premature, or you had a cesarean section. So the two sets of calculations are recorded on your chart as the design column. The design column is in red, normally on your left side, and the personality column, and that's in black on the right side. The personality and design can be viewed as separate charts. The red and black sets of information are both part of your design, but represent aspects that are accessed differently by you. The personality information, in black, is what you have conscious access to. You know these things about yourself, and you can work with this information. This is who you think you are, the you with whom you identify. Having this conscious access is like sitting on a hill overlooking a highway. You can see the road, the traffic on the road, the direction they're going, and you can wave at the people as they go by. In other words, you are fully participating as the observer. The design information is in red, and it is one of the most important advances introduced by the human design system. It shows you the nature of your unconscious, what is going on below your level of consciousness. It also represents your genetic inheritance, or your bloodline, as a theme from your mother and father and grandparents. You cannot consciously access the information in red. It is like looking at a tunnel. You have no idea what is going on inside the tunnel because you can't see the objects or which way they are moving. There's nothing you can do but wait and see what emerges. In other words, what comes out of your mouth can be as much of a surprise to you as it is to others. Even though with age, experience, and the proper reflection, you learn to know the unconscious parts of yourself, it is important to remember that you can never control it. Gates and channels colored in with red and black stripes on a chart indicate that there are multiple planetary activations in that gate or channel in both your personality and design. Those activations function both consciously and unconsciously in your experience of life. Amazing, right? The personality, it's incredible. The personality is who you think you are. The design is how you are genetically programmed to move through time and space. These two completely different aspects merge into one in the bodygraph and are held together by the magnetic monopole as an integrated field and mystical union. It can also be linked to a forced marriage because the two aren't naturally compatible. The personality thinks it's in charge of the life, while in fact it's the design and the magnetic monopole that actually is. Does that make sense?
It's kind of going over my head, but I'm trying to stick to it.
Yeah, well, you can listen to this more and more later. Most of the conflicts that arise and the resistance you meet in life stem from the personality trying to manage your life rather than assuming its proper role, which is to sit in the back seat and enjoy the ride. So the personality is not aware of the design's existence. The personality is who you are on surface level. It's not aware that your design is actually what's the driving force of all that you do. So the personality is not aware that there's another aspect of yourself, which is your design. It's not aware that your design exists, which is why consciously knowing how to access your form's intelligence through your strategy and authority is so important and a major focus of our conversation today. So when the personality passenger is surrendered to its strategy and authority, the personality and design can live in harmony, in union, as they individually perform their intended roles. This is when you find your path and when the foundation for all love emerges, the love of self. Without self-love inside, there's no love for others. With self-love inside, you will know who is right for you on the outside. Welcome back, Masha, a projector with an emotional authority with a split definition and a 5-2 heretical hermit. Mm-hmm. Now, you have, as you know, 4 centers that are filled in: the throat, the G center, the heart, and the sacral. So you already know what a projector is, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe it in your own words?
I'm here to help guide people. I'm here to be a guide. I have a limited amount of energy, and I need to be invited to speak. Is that part of a projector? Is that a separate?
Yes. Yeah, it's your strategy.
But is it for every projector?
Yes, that's how you make things happen, by invitation.
I need to be invited to speak. I need to be invited to co-create. I need to be invited into projects.
Yes, and also dating, right?
Oh, yes, and also dating.
Mm-hmm. So for any major life decisions, like perform on a stage, like you need to be recognized and invited so that you can be in the spotlight, so you can shine, so people can really hold space for you to be who you are, so you can really be seen. So being basically right place, right time.
Yes. I also don't have too much energy. So I need time for myself.
So it's not that you don't have it. You borrow the energy from people that have energy sources that have life force energy, which are the generators and manifesting generators. This is why you notice people going to coffee shops.
Yeah.
They are using the energy of the collective that's there, that's helping them move further, get more inspired.
That's what I need to do today. And I'm not supposed to give advice.
Yes. So what does it feel like if you give advice, but it hasn't been invited as a projector?
I feel bitter and exhausted.
Yes. Does it feel like it's being received and implemented?
Yeah.
So how does it feel best now that you're working with your clients? These clients came to you, right?
Basically.
Yes.
I said what I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're listening and implementing, right?
Correct. They are so excited. It's so easy to work with them.
Do you feel seen?
Yes.
And were you invited?
Yes.
And that's what makes everything easy, right?
Yes, and the fact that they're ready to do whatever I tell them to do.
Yes. So one of your centers and your authority is being an emotional. So your emotional intuition is how you best make decisions. How do you understand that?
I really need to feel into my emotions when there's decisions to be made.
Yes. And sometimes that means sleeping on it or like telling somebody that you're going to take your time when you're making a decision, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And has that been more useful to know that like you run by your emotions and it's okay to ride the roller coaster up and down until it finally makes up its mind?
I think so, yeah.
Awesome. Good job. So I wanted to quickly go over the fact that you're a 5-2, which is how you come across to the world and come across to yourself. And the 5-2 is the self-motivated hero. So your personality is the self-motivated hero, also known as the 5-2. The first number describes the way you see yourself, and the second number is the way others see you. It serves us to have our own internal world that's not so obvious to others, and an external side of us for the physical world. So let's get in touch with each one of those parts of the personality.
So I think myself as a 5, and everyone else sees me as a 2?
Yes.
Interesting.
So
everyone sees me as a hermit, and I think myself as this person who needs to speak.
Yeah, so let's go deeper into those. Are you open to that?
Totally.
Okay, so the 5 is the liberator. You have a save the day energy about you. You love to help people. Whether it's strangers or loved ones, you value all people equally. And because of this, and because you're naturally outgoing, people subconsciously sense that you can help them, guide them, or lead them. Sometimes they might put that expectation on you, whether they know they're doing it or not. Your work as a liberator is to discern which situations are yours to fix and save and which ones are not. Just because you can fix it doesn't mean you should fix it. The right things to do are the situations you feel that are a good fit for you to apply your gifts to, and situations you are actually excited to participate in. So sometimes liberators try to fix everything because they want to make everyone happy. But if you step in and fix things for the approval and recognition, you only deplete yourself and become your not self.
Oh, that's so interesting. So that's why I was trying to figure out if I was trying to help at the border for approval and recognition or not, or whether I was doing it like because of like the universe or God guiding me.
Yeah, so a little backstory is you've been wanting to go help the refugees coming from Ukraine to cross the border, the Mexican border, right?
Yes.
And this came to you intuitively or somebody asked you to?
I just heard that there was, that that's what's happening, and no one asked me to.
Okay. But it's something you wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're doing something that you actually want to do, it means it's correct for you.
Oh.
And when you're stepping in and improving the correct situations, they'll actually give you a burst of energy.
Except I felt very depleted yesterday after going and attempting to do it.
Because there was no direct invitation and there was no recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So you were trying to do something good, but nobody said that you're needed.
Okay.
I know, very interesting, right?
Okay.
Because sometimes it's interesting because sometimes we want to help in so many different ways, and we think that that's doing a service, but the way we need to help is actually going to be called to us. So people will come us and tell us the ways that they want us to help. If we only tune in and learn to listen to the impulses and the things happening around us instead of trying to help in the way that we think we need to help.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Like, when we think that we need to help because something bad is happening, if we haven't been invited to help, again, it's the same thing as giving advice that's unsolicited. We can clearly see what's supposed to happen. We can clearly see what's needed. But because we haven't been invited and recognized, it's not appreciated, it's not welcomed, and it's feeding us of energy.
Oh, man. Okay.
Mm-hmm. In close relationships, it's important for you to feel you're valued for things other than just sorting everything out for people. You may not even know who you are without trying to save people, but only by letting go of this compulsion will you start seeing the other types of exchanges you can have between you and people you love. So here's, so this is the way that you see your... What was the question?
Explain that. That was like a lot of words and very...
Okay, so this is the 5. So this is the way that you see yourself. In every relationship that you're in, it's important that you're valued and being seen for your gifts and not just what you do for somebody else.
Got it. Valued and seen.
Mm-hmm.
So when my partner stops recognizing my gift, it is a no-go.
Yes. Because then he doesn't turn on the projector. So imagine a projector if he doesn't see that there's a projector and turn it on, then nothing can be displayed on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It just stands there, dormant, bitter, with not using its functionality.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm supposed to be invited into relationships. So I need to make myself more available and be like on dating apps.
No. Tell me, what do you need to do in order to become a vibrational match for your dream relationship?
I mean, I have already done it all. Be in love with myself.
Is your dream relationship outlined clearly? Did you use the Dream Man project that I have in the course?
Totally.
Did you print it out? Did you fill it out?
Yes. And
did you? Before, yes.
Sure.
No, it's different. Every time that we evolve, every day we're a new person.
It's definitely written out my list.
You're saying I've made one vision board in your life, does not help the current time to manifest things right now. You saying
editing it.
Huh?
I keep on editing my vision board. It's really great.
Yes, because the way that you and I operate as projectors is a specific way of manifesting. So the way that we manifest on the vision board and the Dream Man project, it has to be very specific, like time, date, amount, place, like the way the characteristics of the man, it has to be so specific. This is different for projectors and for example, manifesting generators, and generators don't have to be specific about anything at all. They just have to have a broad idea of kind of what they want and feel it. Projectors have to be laser.
Got it.
So the most important way for us to manifest as projectors is laser focus, because it's a very specific type of manifestation process. The end destination has to be clear, like putting coordinates into the GPS navigation, very precise. So you say, for example, on your vision board with your spelled out Dream Man, that on, let's say, June 20th, you put out events, you're going to meet your mate. And by then you will become the vibrational match of that mate. And you will create the space and container for that mate to easily come and join you for the ride we call life independently. So that you're coming to dance together as opposed to completing each other. But you're already dancing so amazingly by yourself, so why wouldn't somebody want to come dance next to you? It's fun.
I like that.
Does that make sense?
June 20th it is.
I don't know why this date just came, but it just, so you put very specific on the vision board, everything. If it's dancing, like you gotta, like right now, where are you at in your life? Like, do you love dancing? Okay, it's got to be on your vision board, because then you got to go dancing. Do you love the farmer's market? Like, are you going constantly on your vision board? All these things that you really enjoy right now in this moment, not a month ago, not later, like right now. All of the things that really fuel you, because it could always change.
Well, right now I'm on that cleanse.
Yes, fueling. And if the cleanse is exciting, then put a cleanse on your vision board, because then you're talking about it, you're joining groups, and now this person comes through a cleanse if it's something that is inspiring to you.
Oh, geez, it's not very exciting. I feel very tired. Well, coffee is very exciting, but that's an addiction.
Shall we keep going?
Yes.
Okay. So the 5-2. So do you understand the 5 part? The self-motivated, wanting to help everybody, but choosing your own liberations.
I thought that the 5 also had more to do with like public speaking for some reason. Am I wrong? Like, I remember we talked about that, and it was like more about like.
Yeah, let me go into the book and tell you a little bit more. It's obviously deeper than just what I just told you. What I just told you basically says that you are here to liberate people, because you are the bird on the tree, and when they look up, they can recognize that you know the answers of where to get the water or where to get the answers. You get, the main point of what I just read is that you get to choose the opportunities that feel right for you based on your emotions. Because you can't save everybody and fix everything. This is like your gift as a projector, as a guide. But you choosing the right ones will depend on how it makes you feel. And the other part, what you were saying now, is for a bigger difference. Yes, it's coming straight from the book. So, okay. Yeah, you are meant to guide a lot of people through your own self-example.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there are correct internal calls to something. So you're going to receive more and more calls for bigger and bigger revolutionary things for you to fix and to lead others from the ordinary state of being to their or extraordinary life.
I already feel that. I in this one video.
Yes.
He's telling
it's going to get even bigger and bigger because you're a revolutionary. You are the general.
Well,
a savior.
The ordinary to the extraordinary.
Mhm.
I like that.
Mhm. So that's the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And also, you have your own stimulus and motivation.
Is that part of the 5, or is that a gift?
That's part of being a 5-2.
Yeah. So when I want to go like help someone or help like the refugees, that's my own stimulus and motivation.
Yes, but the reason you felt depleted is because nobody asked you. You weren't seen and you weren't invited. So imagine that you were behind a curtain and there was about to be a performance.
Yeah.
And you have practiced for 2 years for this performance, and nobody moves the curtain over, and you're trying to perform in front of the people, but there's a curtain in the middle. So nobody can see. But you've practiced for 2 years.
Yeah.
So how do you feel at that moment?
Eventually.
Yeah, you end up bitter, and you're like, oh, no one's here to see. I've put in all the work, all the hours, all the investments, but no one is here recognizing me. Nobody's seeing me.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we move on to the 2?
Mhm.
Okay. The 2 is a hermit, but also a natural. So this is the way others see you. The way others see you as a natural. You come across as a natural, which means there are certain things you seem to be effortlessly good at without really knowing how you came to be good at those things or being able to describe to other people how to do it. There's pressure in the world to validate or explain how you qualify to do something. Don't bend to the pressure. In fact, the more people like you are honest about it coming easy, the more we'll all realize we don't need to earn things as much as society tells us that we're supposed to.
Oh, that's the next video I want to make.
Mhm. Coming into your genius is not about learning from the outside world. It's already in you without you really knowing how it got there. This is why the hermit comes in. When you're doing these things, you slip into this zone where your gifts just seem to come out of you naturally. There is an unaware quality in doing what you do, almost as if it happens without you consciously making it happen. In this way, doing your gifts is quite an unconscious process and takes care of itself as long as you're creating the time and space where getting in the zone is possible. This is why we talked about like stepping away from the hot plate and letting yourself drift in doing dishes, cleaning, walking, farmer's market, dancing. If you don't feel like doing something because your energy is depleted, you got to step away from the hot plate and allow yourself to get lost in the music. And then you create the time and space to get into your zone. You get recharged. So this is an unaware process, that your gifts and talents are unaware. It's usually easier for others to spot your genius than it is for you. So naturals tend to require feedback from the outside world to figure out what they're good at. When you're in your zone doing your thing, you don't like to be disturbed or interrupted because you need to be fully devoting yourself to your craft without being thrown off track. So you do have a little bit of a hermit side to you, as you know, as it's only through that side that you can develop your gift to the fullest. So when you do find, does that make sense?
Yeah, as much as I love to be around people, I feel like I can focus when I'm alone.
Mm-hmm. When you do find yourself feeling disturbed, you can reframe it by remembering that people aren't usually trying to disturb you on purpose, and also communicating clearly to them when you want to be left alone in solo mode. So when they come together, when the 5 and 2 comes together, you are brilliant and effortless. You're a fixer and solver, here to serve humanity backed by your big altruistic heart. You're the one who loves to swoop in and make things better for people. And you seem to do it with so much ease and grace. Making things better is just obvious to you, and that is your gift. But while helping others is what you live for, you also seek a lot of alone time. Learning when to do which is the key to creating a healthy and successful life. Because it's so easy for you to help and lift others, it can be hard to believe the fact that there is a real vulnerability to you. You are prone to questioning yourself a lot, and ultimately this is what you came here to overcome. Before others discover your genius.
That is so true.
Yeah? Which part?
Yeah, I always question myself if I'm doing enough for the world.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I need to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Before others can discover your genius, you have to discover it yourself and put it out to others. It's very important that you don't expect the world to discover you, or you'll wait forever and it will only make you want to detach yourself further from the world. Like your name suggests, no amount of recognition or validation from others will get you going. You came here to believe in yourself and be your own motivator. Remember that the 5 in you is subject to many projections. And if you feel the pressure of too many of them, with no self-recognition in place yet, you'll be tempted to just give up or not bother. Don't ever throw in the towel. We need you to keep going because you really are here to be a hero. This will be the thing that both heals you and other people.
Yay.
So you have, as the 5-2, you live an unusual life of constant projections. Returning to the house metaphor, where you are the one behind the screen, like I told you, we have the conscious. So you're conscious of the 5th line, and you're standing on, let's say, in a house on a 2nd floor behind a curtain, looking out on the street, very aware of the people below, projecting up at it as they wonder what is going on behind the curtain. Now, the unconscious 2nd line, that's how others see you, is on the 1st floor, lights on, curtains open, dancing around, unaware that people are looking in and projecting onto it as well.
What was the very first part of what you read to me? Like, I didn't.
So the way that you see yourself is as a 5. You are, let's say you're in a house, you're on the 2nd floor. And there's a curtain that's closed on the floor. You can look out and you're very aware of the people below. Other people on the street are looking at the curtain and wondering what is going on behind the curtain. But the way that the people see you, so your unconscious 2nd line, is you're on the 1st floor with the lights on, curtains open, dancing around, unaware that people are looking in.
I love that.
So the way I can explain it in simple terms is because you're a guide, you are like a bird on the tree. Hence, you're standing on the second floor, but the curtain is closed. So you have a higher level of awareness, and you can see what people need to do and be and what they need to fix in order to get them to the next step. They're looking up, but they can't see you. The way that they see you is dancing on the first floor with the lights open, with the lights on and just like dilly-dally. So they're unaware that you are actually on the second floor and you have this ability to guide. So this is your biggest thing in this lifetime, is to learn how to be that for yourself, realize your genius, discovering like exactly your avatar and what you've been put here to do for them. Because then when you discover it for yourself, you can project it out and others can see it too. So as opposed to them just seeing the girl who's dancing, when you understand your genius, they will also understand that you can project and help them. Because you can see it from up above. They cannot see into the curtain, but you can see out, looking at them. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think.
Okay. So then the 2, did we finish the 2? We didn't finish the 2. Oh, the genius. So you need to be left alone. Alone time, you need that a lot. It's very important for your body to stay in good health. So don't allow your mind to take over your alone time with overthinking, worrying, and projection, as that will deplete rather than restore you. The alone time is for the body, and getting involved in life is what is the part that soothes your mind and boosts your self-confidence. Getting over your fears of your own image and abilities and your high standards is your karma. But no amount of thinking will solve it. You have to demonstrate your own abilities to yourself by just giving it a go. The pressure that you feel from others is actually irrelevant. And this will only trigger you for as long as you have pressure and expectations on yourself. Those triggers are not a bad thing. They're just pointing you to the next place where you can self-examine. So you have strong ideals, and beautiful things can be born out of these ideals. You can use them to create and encourage excellence in the world, as long as you don't overly fantasize about life or others. It's actually good to hold strong to these ideals of how good we can all be. When you believe in it, you make it easy for others to believe in it too. And half of the work of creating an ideal world is having faith. You have a transpersonal karma. That's what I was telling you, which means you will feel most worthy when you're contributing to others. Know that the recognition you crave will come the more you see your natural talents as being valuable and just start putting them out there and really owning them. It's not other people's responsibility to tell you you're great. It's yours. But ironically enough, when you value those natural gifts you were given, others pick up on that and will value you for those same gifts. You have a karma of letting go of what other people think, which is difficult because you hold yourself to such a high standard. So it's time to value yourself. This will be the most healing thing you do, and the key to having everything else you desire come to you. In close relationships, you may find you seek feedback that people aren't always able to give. But just because they won't always be in a space to give it, it's not necessarily anything that's wrong in your dynamic. You open yourself up more for feedback when you show yourself your vulnerability and softness rather than talking about your performance like a science project. People respond best to that big, soft heart. Also, in relationships, remember that changing and fixing things is easy and obvious to you, but it isn't to everyone. So don't allow yourself to get frustrated at other people's pace. The key with being a 5-2 is marrying your effortless brilliance with your huge care for helping humanity. And when you do that, that's your gold.
Woo! That's beautiful.
Yes. And here a little bit deeper on the 5-2, what I was telling you about the geometry of the profile. 5-2, left angle, transpersonal destiny. You're representing 33% of the population of humanity, and you cannot fulfill your purpose alone. Although not dependent on the other, even the simplest of connections can potentially change the direction of the path, which is the opposite right angle cross. Left angle profiles have a more conscious awareness of other people and the world and are always ready to observe and engage in life. You have a transpersonal profile, and transpersonal profiles maintain a connection to past incarnations and often feel an unexplained familiarity with certain people, places, and experiences. While the right angle creates karma, that's not you. The left angle, you're the left angle, cleans up the karma that has been created. Does that make sense?
Not really.
So you represent 33% of the population, but you cannot fulfill your purpose here alone. Although you're not dependent on other people, your connections can change the trajectory and the direction of your life. You're consciously aware of the world more than other people, and you're more aware of places, people, and things from your past incarnations. Hence, this gives you the ability to clear karma. This is why when you go to different places and you're like, oh, this feels so familiar, like I've been here before, because you are more attuned to your past karma.
Mm-hmm.
And the more and more you can recognize and see that, the more you'll receive the gifts of the next places and things you need to go, and you will trust intuitively to go to these places and things.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of my projector?
That's part of being a 5-2.
5-2.
It's part of your profile. Mm-hmm. That's not every projector. I have a completely different angle.
Yeah, you're a 4-6?
I'm a 2-4.
Sorry, 2-4, right?
A hermit opportunist, but I'm not going to go into that right now because we're on you.
I have a question.
What's up?
So, because I'm a 5-2, I noticed that the men that are around me that are 6, is that like who I need to learn from because they are like my teachers? Because the 6 is the teacher.
The 6 is a role model, but normally those role models don't step into their power until after 50.
Oh, that's funny. So I need to
Because a general rule of thumb is between 30 and 50, they do all the things right and wrong to acquire all the lessons, and then they become role models for humanity.
What if I see there are things that they're doing wrong and the things that they're doing right, and just learning from the things that they're doing right?
You can learn from anything that you want to learn, whatever inspires you. But it may not necessarily be...
Sorry, that was the dog.
It may not necessarily be the full extent of what you can learn from this person because they haven't really mastered whatever it is they're learning.
Got it. So only those that are after 50, if they're 6.
That's a general rule. That's a general description of a 6. Is that they are role models, and until 50, between 30 and 50, so until 30, they learn the hard way. Between 30 and 50, they learn what's good, what's bad, and then after 50, they can share from their own experience because they're a role model, what has worked, what hasn't worked. That probably, everybody who is listening to this right now probably gets excited now, like wanting to get to the age of 50 because everyone like dreads getting older. But the truth is, the older we get, the less, excuse my language, less fucks we give, and the better and easier our life becomes. And like that, some of the things that we used to worry about, like if you look back, the things you were worried about when you were younger, or like how when we were little, we wanted to like, I'm 7.5, I'm 17 3/4. Like we wanted to grow older, and then there comes a time like around 30s, 40s, where people are like don't even want to talk about their age because they feel that they're getting old, and now there's this fear of health issues and blah blah blah. But if you look at it from you're gaining more wisdom, and you can reflect back on the things that you used to worry when you were in your 20s, and now like it's hilarious. So the things that we worry now in our 30s, 40s are going to be hilarious to us in our 50s. Mm. So like looking back, like let's say like what is something you used to worry about in your 20s? Hangovers. There you go. Yeah. Money. Job. Getting a good job. Like most people in their 20s don't think about living their soul's purpose yet. They just want to make enough so they can not live in their parents' house. Yeah. And then you grow a little bit older and you're like, wait, there's more than just not living in my parents' house. There's something I've been put on this earth to do, and there's a reason I'm breathing, and okay, maybe now it's time to figure out what that something is. Mm. It's the same thing with relationships. The more confident you become in who you are, in your whole and complete, the less you have the need to want somebody next to you because you know you're whole and complete. They can go, but you're still whole and complete. So there's no like need. The older we get, the less needy we become that we need somebody next to us to feel it, because we can feel that love for ourselves.
Don't have a need for sex.
Yeah, that's fine, and it is levels. It's a pleasure, and everybody wants that part of themselves to be fulfilled. Of course. But the funny thing is once you let that go, and you own it, and you have a clear vision, and ours has to be very specific and singular, and then, because once you own the vision, because it happened, let's say June 20th for you, and you created the vision so clear. Right now, let's say you love dancing. Okay, you put that on the vision board. Now you're looking up, you're going to all these different dancing classes, like all these different things that really fuel you right now. But you've already said your dream partner, June 20th, it is done, it is done, it is done. So then you're not worried about it. You're not thinking about it because you know it's done. And now you're doing the things that you love at this moment and becoming a vibrational match to something that's already been done. Same thing with a number in the bank account. It has to be specific for you with a specific time.
Okay. Did you do that? Didn't you do that?
Mm-hmm. Well, your vision has to be specific, like in the next 3 months, like what you want to see, or by June 20th, or you can make your entire vision by June 20th.
Why June 20th?
I have no idea why I keep saying June 20th, but you choose a date. You choose a date for you. Another really important thing on your chart that I don't think I've discussed before is that place where it says single definition.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm. So the single definition describes a chart where the energy flows continuously through defined channels and centers without any breaks, connecting all defined centers in the chart. Single definition people are at some level self-contained because their definitions forms a single, continuous, constant, ever-present, and reliable energy.
Mm-hmm.
These designs can have a very singular focus and don't have the same need to reflect on different aspects of themselves than the split definitions do. Single definition designs do not need others to assist them in the assimilation of information or to feel a sense of wholeness. They digest information rapidly unless, of course, they are emotionally defined. Does this make sense?
A little bit. Like I have a constant flow of energy?
Yes, that is a singular point of focus. But you digest information based on your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So as you already know, your life purpose here is to help people coexist better.
Mm-hmm.
And you're here to spot and help dissolve old ways of interacting as a community that doesn't serve us anymore and bring in a new, better way of coexisting that benefits everyone. So community is huge for you. Just because the ways we live together, work together, and love together have worked, it doesn't mean that they are optimized much far away from it. You are here to move people over from the stale status quos and into the newer ways. If things ever irritate you about the current ways, don't run away from those irritations. Run right towards them and figure out exactly what it is that icks you or that you don't get, because those are the keys that will give you the new ideas and the aha moments on what we can change to make things even better. So I really like what you've been doing with your community recently by spotting other people's gifts and talents and bringing them along with you for certain projects, like the one you did, the sound healing that you did at a corporate. Mm-hmm. And you brought your Reiki friend and you helped her charge higher rates. That is a new way of being in a community. Yeah. A new way of existing by not only elevating the others within your community, but also bringing them on your abundant financial life, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's your big theme is dissolving the old ways of interacting as a community and finding and running towards better ways of coexisting that benefit everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate?
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm. This is called your left angle cross of migration. That's your life theme and your life purpose, what you came to accomplish in this life.
To recognize others and to bring them in?
It's more in a sense of community.
Just creating community.
Yes. And recognizing the old paradigm, how things don't work in community, and shifting them into new ways, how they should work, like bringing each other up using our gifts, like what you've already been.
Yeah, all I see is the wellness center, that it's technically like a community.
Yeah, you're already there. Everything you want right there. You wanted oceanfront, check. You wanted your own personal space, check. You wanted people around you, community, check. So you're there. Now just all you have to do is focus on your gifts.
Check.
Yep. So the last two things, if you have a couple more minutes to talk about your digestion and your strongest sense.
Yeah.
So for you, your digestion and the best way for you to eat, the way that you're designed to eat, is consecutive appetite. Your digestive pattern is the same as our early ancestors, who ate very simple and natural. If they came across a mango tree, their meal would just be a bunch of mangoes. This is for you. You thrive on keeping things basic and pared down without too much variety in any given meal. Your food, no variety.
What?
You're a mono eater.
So I'll be happy with a mango tree.
Yeah. Well, let's say, for example, in the morning, instead of having a fruit salad, 5 mangoes or 3 mangoes, just mango, or just apple, or just...
That's horrible.
This is what it says. I mean, you take everything with a grain of salt, or you play an experiment and see how you feel. Your food. The most important thing to know is that being selective about what you eat is good for you. When you have lots of options of what to eat, choose the things that are really worth it to you, and then eat those and only those. The more you can take out what's not necessary, the better. If you're having peas and asparagus as your vegetable sides, don't force yourself to have a few carrots because they're healthy, or because you should try to get variety in as much as possible. Those things just aren't for you. So even though society says a salad with 25 things in it is better, for you, it will always drain your system. When you do have a more complex meal, you're best off finishing one food in your meal and then moving on to the next one. Embracing the simple way. It can be difficult for this digestive type because society equates complicated food with good food. But simple doesn't mean it can't be gourmet. And if you love gourmet, find a way to make it gourmet. You can make a beautiful plate of a few things the way Mediterraneans do.
Okay.
Maybe it's hard for you to even see how you might be built for a more simple way of eating. If this is you, the only way you'll know is by giving it a go. You'll know.
I'm about to, because I'm on this cleanse.
You'll know that it's right if after some time of doing it, you feel so much clearer, energized, and at peace. Plus, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can just simplify your meals a little bit more than you did yesterday and get great results. If you don't like the idea of simplifying your meals because it feels limiting, tell yourself you're actually just choosing the things that most excite you to eat and allowing yourself to really enjoy those. And that tomorrow, all the food options in the world will still be available, and you can choose which ones appeal to you the most then. Your brain. With this digestive pattern, it also means that when you simplify and strip down the information that comes into your brain, it's easier for you to think clearly and be your own genius. We digest information and process the world around us the exact same fashion we digest and process food in our bodies. So for you, you need to take in the outside world in a simple fashion. When you do, your brain functions at its peak, which makes it very easy for your gifts and genius to develop, whatever they are. eating patterns, your brain is very active, so it uses up a lot of your daily calorie intake. If you want to fast, be sure not to undereat, simply for the reason that it will hinder the development of your genius for that day if you do. And
I
also
definitely feel that when I fast. That's why this cleanse that I'm doing is very different. Like, you can eat as much as you want.
Yeah, but mono, right? You're eating one thing.
Brown rice and lentils.
Yeah, so eat as much of it as you need. You also do well eating consistently, meaning that your food regime should look the same or similar from one day to the next. So, for example, you might decide a fruit-based breakfast works well for you. Aim to do that every morning at around the same time. Consistency for you actually eliminates stress and overthinking. So when you automate it, it gives you freedom for your brain to focus on the things that actually move your life forward.
Does that mean I could still be like be more of a intermittent fasting and start like my first meal at 2, or does that mean that I'm supposed to start like consistently in the morning, or what does that mean?
If you decide that your first meal is going to be at 2, then make your first meal around 2 every day. That's all it means. It doesn't tell you when to eat. Some other designs that I have done before give you specific instructions of when you stop eating. Yours does not. Yours just asks that you are consistent and that you try to divide your food into sections. And yours says to eliminate the need to think of the foods. So when you're more consistent about the type of food, you eliminate thinking what you should eat next. And that will give you brain power to be your genius. So meal preparation for you, for example, would be very beneficial because then it will take away from your genius brain power.
And basically do that.
Perfect. And then consistency in terms of the time you're eating them around the same time. Perfect.
I feel like I do that besides the weekends.
Perfect. And the last but not least, would you like to know your strongest sense? Which of the 6 senses is your spice?
Wow.
Yes! The gift of discernment. So of all the 6 senses, each one of us has a dominant, and yours is smell. It's your heightened and the one that makes you feel most alive. It's kind of like your love language with the world. Each sense has its own language, and when you speak your language, people receive your gifts the most deeply. It makes whatever you do more effective and valuable. You also observe information from the outside the best when you're taking it through that sense. With your gifts, energetically, the nose represents fine and accurate judgment. You are here to sniff things out, follow the scent, smell a wrap from a mile away. Being on the nose also means that you strive for accuracy and precision. You're incredibly discernment, so judge of character, is that main thing that will help you develop your gifts. So try to be constantly developing it. You can sense when something is off. You like to sniff out the truth and separate the flower from the weeds, no matter what area of life this is for you. People are looking for you to keep refining your discernment, which is your judge of character, and pouring that into what you do. You need to have a totally clear nose, literally and figuratively, in order to have the most clear insights. So anything that makes your nose blocked or stuffy will literally be stopping you from being in your genius. You won't be able to hit the nail on the head in the way that you have the ability to do so if your nose is clogged. Pay attention to what foods, substances, and fragrances clog you up. Feeling like you can breathe, big and open, creates a clear channel for you to be in your brilliance. So you know that face you make when something doesn't smell good, when you don't like something?
Yeah.
So that's the energy you're going to feel when something is off, something doesn't feel right. from any outside situation. And don't be afraid to be picky. You're not meant to just accept and like everything. Remember, people will be coming to you more and more to tell them what's good, what's right, what's helpful, what's relevant and true. So in your personal life, because clarity is so important to you, in your relationships, you hate being lied to or things being hidden from you. Clarity and honesty is extra important. And discussing interesting topics with others, where you get to refine what you think about things, whether good or bad, right or wrong, is fun for you. It's actually good for you to get involved in healthy debates, healthy disagreements, and to soak up many different viewpoints because it helps you refine your own. You love people who are engaged in the world and expressing their viewpoints because it gets you into your zone of genius. Setting up your life. Try to create a practice of deep breathing, whether that's formal, like a breathwork ritual, or just reminding yourself through the day to breathe deeply. Doing this is like an energetic tune-up for you. Oh my goodness. This is why when you share your practice and you incorporate breathwork in it, that is huge for you.
That's my client's favorite thing right now.
Because that's your zone of genius. It's your strongest sense.
I just hired a breathwork coach, basically. Breathwork facilitator.
Perfect. Develop that sense because this is going to be a huge part of your guidance because that's your huge part of your zone of genius. Because it's your strongest sense. So you hiring that person means you're going to mimic some of the stuff that he or she does because it's going to be a dominant part of how you guide others.
Yeah, he's a 6 also. And like he learned from experience, and that's one of his talents that I recognize. He's also. I also feel like I have karma with him or something.
You get to learn. It's your dominant sense. So you will be guiding people in breath work more and more and more as part of your practice.
Wow. Cool.
It's your gift.
Nice.
With food, smell prepares your body to digest the food. Mm-hmm. This is a mechanism that's deeply connected to survival because our ancestors could tell if something was okay to eat based on how it smelled. You can tell when something is going to be right for your body based on if you like the way it smells. Create good smells around.
Oh my God, that's why I love to smell that's why I love to smell Lucas all the time because like I needed that smell, like his smell.
Yep.
So that's
so
what I need.
The smell that you were getting from him in your environment. Create
the smell of a man's skin, like his.
Yes. But find something like, you know how a woman created the scent of the vagina or whatever. Find that same scent and put it in your environment. Surround yourself by it. So there's certain candles that even have that smell. So find that same smell that you were getting from him and put it in your environment. Or you can wear it yourself. And try to cut out products that say fragrance. You already eliminated all the crap from your system already, right? So just use natural oils, sages, candles of the environment, of the type of smell that you want to experience. Every smell for you can create the environment. So when you want to get focused, get a smell that helps you focus. When you want to relax, get a smell that helps you relax, wake up, etc. When you grocery shop, make sure that you are buying products without the packaging and you're smelling them. When you are smelling something, it's easy for you to imagine what it's going to taste like. So don't be afraid to smell everything before you eat it. Or smell when you're walking through a restaurant of what people are eating. That will help you figure out what you want.
That's hilarious.
So smell is your strongest sense. You are primed to help us discern and sort out the truth from the non-truth, the pure from the corrupt, the helpful from the unhelpful in this world, in the specific areas of your life, and in the ways that you love yourself. We need you to help us sniff out the truth. And that will complete today's reading.
Thank you.
Whew, that was deep.
So overall, what's the biggest recommendation for me is to wait to be invited. Even if I want to do something like help the refugees, I have to wait to be invited.
What else did you get from today? In accordance to your 5-2, the self-motivated hero.
I'm here to be a revolutionary. I need to be recognized. Keep taking deep breaths. Yeah.
You can't fix and solve everything.
I can't.
You can.
I can fix and solve.
Superpower, but you get to choose based on your emotions which ones of these are correct for yourself. So you don't go out and get all of them, even though you can, because you're a guide. You get to choose which ones are right for you to solve. And everything comes to you naturally. And you get to tell people how easy it is instead of the old paradigm where people think that hard work equals money and things.
Yes. I was just thinking about that one.
So you
I like
get
that one.
So that it's actually easy once you understand your gift and talent, that it's actually very easy for you to be yourself and create abundance from that place. And that you don't need to justify yourself or try to explain to people because it's easy and natural.
Yeah, and I need to be more specific about my manifestation, like time and date. And also, it's like I just need to rest and do what I enjoy doing if I'm low in energy, and it will come to me.
Yes, because you create space.
Create space.
Yep. And your life purpose is to help people coexist better.
Oh, I love that. I need to write that down. I should have been writing all of this down.
Well, this is why I have this recording for you. Aren't you grateful for the recording now? And I'm going to put it all together. It's going to be a few hours, but you can play it and stop it anytime you want. And you'll have the pictures of all this on the screen as well.
Life's purpose is to help people coexist better, so I am here to create community.
Yes. And not just create community. You're here to see how, in what ways community doesn't work and what better ways communities can work. Away from the old paradigm into a new. So you're here to help people coexist better in communities, in a new paradigm, in a new way of being.
Well, it might have been a way of being in the past, in a distant past, and we're just relearning it.
Yes.
Like I'm diving deep.
You remember what I said about your 5-2 is that you are more connected and aware of people in the world, including your past incarnations, than others are. This is why it's easier for you to reflect and to clear karma.
Okay. I don't feel like I'm more aware of my past incarnations, but that's interesting.
This is something that comes with practice. Remember the other day you said that you were guided to go to a restroom in some building and you felt like you were already there.
No. I got the client. I went to the building because it was for the space of it was for lease, and I've been there. And I mean, we came because we wanted to rent it, and then I've been there, and then that's the client that I got from the building that we went to for a completely different reason. But I've been to that bathroom already because we had to use their bathroom. So I've been to their office. So crazy.
So you intuitively had an impulse to want to go get space, right? To want to go get working space.
No, my friend wants to open my friend, a manifesting generator. She wants to open a vegan restaurant, and she wants me to join her and help her. And I found this space for rent, and it has a little garden. So this was, look back, this was an invitation. Yeah. And then I found the space, yeah.
So you felt good about the invitation, right? It got you.
Oh, yeah.
You were seeing and recognized. You said yes.
She makes a vegan restaurant around me. I never have to cook again.
Yes. Now you worked as the guide, connecting to the answer to her question, which is space. So you started acting from your emotional state as the guide to finding the space. Do you see how many dots had to connect? At the same time you were stepping into your power as a guide, you already knew people were going to come to you because you were going to work with complete strangers. You understand that?
Oh, this was way before we even got into human design. This is just because she's my best friend and I love her.
You got to see looking back, how everything is connected.
Yeah.
Well,
got it. It's just before I knew that I was a projector and all that.
Right. Just like I started coaching when you were seeing me and other people started seeing me, way before I knew that this is what I'm meant to do, is to guide that I'm a projector.
Yeah, got it.
So you were already operating in your purpose without clearly knowing that was your purpose. And the more now you're getting tuned in and refined, the more the opportunities from the past, because vibrationally, energetically, you put your energy into that building already. And now you tuned yourself into your gift, hence the energy from the building is coming back to you. Think of everything in energy, frequency, vibration, as opposed to person, thing. Because every reality already exists within the sphere that we are in. In every place we've ever been, in every person we've ever touched, our reality has existed there. And the more we tune into our purpose, the more our reality vibrational will come back from all the places we have been.
Crazy. That's crazy. That's cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because you tuned yourself further. So you started the chain reaction by trusting that you were already the guide before you even knew it. Because she reached out to you, she saw you, she recognized you. You felt excited about it because you're very passionate about vegan food and this is a best friend. So there was a yin-yang between you going on already. You found the place. So you already left some of your energy there. You tuned in. Then afterwards you were coaching with me and you started to realize that your purpose is a guide that you've been put on this earth to do, is to guide people because you can see from up above. you can project. So now you've got more tuned in, and the frequency from the different places is coming back to you, the more fine-tuned you're getting.
Woohoo!
Amazing, right? Everything
Totally.
energy, frequency, vibration. And the more tuned in we understand our purpose, the easier and the frequencies that we're meant to be in resonance with, that we've already been part of, get turned on, and we can spot them, and we can close them. Like you say, here I am your guide full time, but now you just got tuned into it, and now all the spaces energetically you've ever been before, all those that need you, recognize that you've turned on that channel of yourself.
Woohoo!
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Because you shifted your identity and fully stepped into your power as a guide.
Mhm.
Another example, let's say a simpler example. You were at a bunch of different places before, and you tuned into being a plumber, for example.
Mm.
Now, all of a sudden, you shifted your identity and you embraced it fully as a plumber, and now you show up that way to the world, and all these people and places where you've already been, since you left, you were already in resonance and frequency vibration. Now, some of them will come to you and hire you as the plumber.
Got it.
You understand?
Yeah.
So one last thing to take it a step further.
Yeah.
The more you can see and recognize this way of being yourself that you can see from up above, the more you'll see that there are people out there that need you to understand and help them connect bigger things, even like $1 million investments, because you can help guide people to see which investments are correct and how they need to be connected.
Oh, you're taking me back to my chef investments time. You know, they started an environmentally friendly conscious fund, and I planted that seed. So exciting.
Wow. So you're going to have, because you're a guide projector, the more and more tuned in you get, the more and more you will have bigger and bigger people and problems to solve. Hence, the more and more you will be exchanged monetarily for the problems that you solve, the more you step into your power as a guide, understanding that you can see from up above bigger things, things that people cannot see themselves.
How exciting.
Isn't that cool? I love you. Hopefully this wasn't too much. I know
I love
you're
you too.
Huh?
Are you going on you're doing I might do a digital detox this weekend too. That sounds nice.
Yeah, I have 3 more appointments, and then I'm clear to go.
Nice. Enjoy.
Yeah, I love you so much. Was this useful?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a good next few days. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch up with you next week.